Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
It is I, the one, the only. Alrighty then. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I'm Sid Partu. Joining me today is...
A geek for fun.
And I'm that Matt kid.
And today we are finally, after a long journey, wrapping up our Batman Origin series with Dark Victory and Robin Annual number 4, aka Robin Year 1 from 1995. So, I don't know, it's the end of a journey. Kind of talked about... Probably should have ended on the high note last week with the Long Halloween, since it's like, you know, we all loved it. But, you know, it just wouldn't feel right to go all the way to Long Halloween and then not talk about its direct sequel that's also another character's origin. And talk about Dark Victory. And also to talk about all the other Batman Year 1 annuals from 1995 and not talk about the other one that's a direct origin for another huge Batman character, which is Dick Grayson. So yeah, here we are. Okay, so just general thoughts. Let's do it this way. Which one did you like more, Dark Victory or Robin Year 1?
For me, I vastly enjoyed Dark Victory compared to Robin Year 1. I will go into that, but it very much felt like when I was reading Year 1, it was almost like a wiki page that had been drawn. Like a lot of that didn't feel like we were telling a story, we were just going through the motions, whereas Dark Victory has a lot of problems. But on this reread, I did find a lot of stuff that I actually really, really like, which I'm interested to get into. So yeah, that one by far, just on the virtue of having ideas, I think it's completely not even a comparison in my eyes.
All right. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, hard not to agree with that. I've never read either of these books before, so that was kind of a fun experience. But Dark Victory, you know, I didn't love it. And I'll certainly get into that. But I do think it had more going for it. It got me a little bit more personally invested in the story than certainly the annual did. And I think Alfie's right. I mean, the annual, it moves at such a clip, and it feels like it's just getting you through. Okay, here's what happens, and then just moves on. And it doesn't feel like it's taking its time to tell it, which, I mean, granted, it's a one-issue annual, so of course it's not, but compared to Dark Victory with its much more deliberate pace and things like that, you know, Dark Victory is not great, but I still liked it better.
Mm-hmm. You know, the funny thing for me is I kind of throughout this, especially last week, I was kind of shitting on Dark Victory and Jeff Loeb. And, you know, I gotta be honest, I think all of the complaints I've ever had about Dark Victory still stand, and I don't think I'm going to change my mind about any of them. But just going into it dreading it a little bit more after the high of the Long Halloween made me like Dark Victory more than I have in the past. And not having read the Robin Annual before, going into that, I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, damn, couldn't find a good Robin origin to fit in here, could we? Because I know there's another like proper Robin Year 1 story, and there's like Batman Year 3.
Which is also by Chuck Dixon.
Oh, yep. God. So, like, why did he get to do it twice?
Well, at least on the second one, he has a co-writer with him, Scott Beatty, I think his name is, who also wrote Batgirl Year One, and you can tell like the co-writer helped a lot because Robin Year One is like night and day. It's still not an origin; it's like post-origin, and it's just the Robin's first year as Robin, so it doesn't even count as an origin. But it's a much more interesting story than that. But yeah, you're right. And then Batman Year 3 is kind of just really dispensable. So there, in my opinion, there legit has never been a good Robin story, origin story in the comics. There's been good in the animated series. Batman and Batman the Animated Series have got that covered apparently.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so yeah, I guess I'll just kind of get into it. So like I said, I actually really enjoyed Dark Victory kind of in spite of itself, this read-through. You know, like, I mentioned last time that Dark Victory has a little of, you know, the mob finally dying to the freaks. And that's, like, it's seated in Long Halloween, but it's just, like, the one mob boss. It's not the entire mafia collapsing. Whereas Dark Victory really does go that extra mile and does do the entire mafia collapsing under the weight of the Gotham freaks. And I really do like it for that reason. I like that element of it. The thing that always got me about Dark Victory, and I was able to appreciate a little bit more, is it's kind of like billed as, you know, the origin of Dick Grayson, or Dick Grayson, like, being in it is such a big deal. And he's, like, so not in it for being in it. Like, they wait forever to introduce him. It's not till, like, the last third of the book that he's introduced. It all so much of his story happens off panel. And then, like, he's just kind of moody and chilling in Wayne Manor for a good chunk of the story until he just randomly starts kicking ass and taking names in the last chapter. And it's such a strange occurrence to gotta get into. That all being said, kind of the moody scenes with Dick Grayson worked a lot better for me than they have in the past. I really appreciated those a lot more than I have previously. So I thought that was kind of cool.
For me, this really was. I'm really curious because I was doing some research after I read this because I was like, there's gotta be some fucking reason why we wait till issue 8 in a 14-issue series to introduce our second title character on the front page of this fucking thing, and then he's still not given nearly enough attention. Why did that happen? And I looked it up, and it was Jeff Lowe really wanted to do a Robin story, but Tim Sale does not like Robin. He really doesn't like Robin, and this made me laugh so much when I read it. He's quoted as saying, "I don't like Robin because I don't like how much he contrasts against my Batman." And I'm like, it's kind of the fucking point. It's why it actually looks really good, like, because of that contrast. That's why your Robin and your Batman look really great together. I don't know how to take that there, Bud, but apparently that's why. So it's not explicitly stated, but I definitely do feel like he managed to keep Tim Sale on. It's like, all right, we'll do a sequel to Long Halloween because you know this is going to fucking sell. I still want to wrap up a lot of the mob boss story, but I really want to do a Robin thing. Can I squeeze him in? I'll draw an issue. And then you got to take that issue count and spread it out.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's funny because the version I have has like this foreword by Tim Sale talking about like how I don't like Robin, and you know, Jeff Loeb really like convinced me, and the only other time I drew Robin was I was dating this girl and her kid liked Robin and also hockey, so I drew him as Robin with a hockey stick. And I'm like, man, I really want to see that. That sounds cool as shit. Yeah, otherwise it's just awkward in that way. I don't know, Matt. So this was your cherry popping with Dark Victory, huh?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I've never read this before. And it was funny because going into it, it's sort of like Hush. Like there's a big group of the fandom who just seems to uncritically like it and think it's fine. But then as soon as you start talking to people who spend a lot of time reading Batman comics, everyone's just like, what? No, this is garbage. This is a terrible thing. Don't read this. So I went into it expecting it to be horrible. And then I didn't hate it. I found it dull at parts. And I found the ultimate reveal to be, of who the Hangman was kind of a not terribly, because like when you get the holiday reveal at the end of Long Halloween, it's got that last couple pages that make you go like, oh, I gotta go fucking reread this shit like right now. This does not have that even remotely. But the stuff with Robin, it's fine to me, everything you're saying, because his Robin does look so good. But it is weird how much I get thrown off when like you get to the beginning of issue 11 and he's like, man, I'm still in here. I'm ready. I've trained. And I'm like, wait, when have you trained? Like you just showed up here like 5 minutes ago. So it's definitely odd the way that everything with Robin was paced, because I was reading this on the DC Universe app, because I don't have this physically, so I was reading it on there. And I remember just being like, okay, Ian said that Robin's gonna show up at some point. And I'm still waiting. And then finally, some fucker's like, "All right, we're gonna use this circus." And I was just like, "Oh, fucking! All right, finally, some trapeze people are gonna fucking die." Jesus.
And you don't even see it.
Yeah.
Skip the death.
I know they skip it, and it's funny because then because I assume you guys did. I did what Ian suggested, which was read this until that issue and then take a break to read year one. It was interesting how some of the imagery is similar between the two, and also some of the lines are pulled directly from one to the other, which I thought was kind of neat. And so reading it that way, I don't know, maybe it helped me fill in the gaps a little bit, but at the same time, it doesn't totally work because he's not in the costume until the very end of this, so you can't really chronologically fit them together. But
yeah, it doesn't fit perfectly. Like at first, it was like, okay, well, Batman goes and visits him in juvie, or whatever, foster care, whatever that's supposed to be. And then but his first time seeing Batman is very clearly at Wayne Manor. But I'm like, you could maybe like fudge it because maybe he's just on a generic roof in that scene or something. But nah, it doesn't coalesce together perfectly. But it worked a little bit better than I was expecting it to.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I've having not read Dark Victory. Having not read Dark Victory since the second episode of Geeky Gentleman all the way back in 2012. Till now, that really wasn't in my mind. And then having never read the Robin Annual, I really didn't know how well they'd mesh. I was curious to just see that as an experiment. And there's enough vagueness that, like, if you ignore certain details, I think it works. But unfortunately, it doesn't coalesce together 100%. But it works better than I expected it to.
Yep.
And I think one thing we'll get into, because I think while we're on this, a good way to structure it is we'll talk about all the Robin stuff and we'll include the annual as well, and then we can focus more on everything else related to Long Halloween after we've kind of like got that bit out. So that way, because a lot of it does very much interconnect and deals with some of the same issues in my mind, where there are some really strong scenes here with Dick Grayson and Batman. In fact, I think some of the strongest scenes in the book, where Dick walks into the Wayne's bedroom and he finds Martha's hairbrush, and he talks about how his mom used to make sure she made her hair look beautiful every time they were going to go out, and it annoyed his dad like crazy. And then you flash back to Bruce, and he talks about how Martha would get ready and just the different reactions, but it's the same. But at the same time, something I really liked in this that a lot of people don't do, which I love, is Loeb has Dick talk like a poor kid, like a working class, like he calls them rubes. He kind of has that rougher edge around him, especially when you directly contrast it to what Bruce is saying, where Bruce is very cold, Bruce is very polite and eloquent, and you can tell he's educated. You can tell Dick's just kind of like grown up in the middle of a circus. So I really like that dynamic, immediately getting that these are two different characters, but they are feeling the exact same pain right now. And how do you go through that? How do you deal with that? And then specifically something I feel like I'm just gonna do it myself because it's fucking just sitting on the table, is the idea of mirroring Two-Face and Robin, and having those stories be kind of interconnected. I really love the detail that the same type of acid that burnt Two-Face is what melted the ropes. Like, that's such a fucking cool detail to me, because Two-Face and Robin, specifically in this, that I think really is the first thing to get at the heart of what's interesting between those two, is you've got Bruce's first friend as Batman, his one confidant. Like, he's seen with Alfred here where he's talking about how he was going to tell him. He was going to open up to him. Even before Gordon in year one, we know he's been hanging out with Harvey. And sadly, there's not a lot of stories dealing with that. Like, there is so much in that of, like, he actually did have a friend. Like, Gordon was a bit more tense, but, like, Harvey, you can tell probably almost immediately was on board with what Batman was doing. Because he got it immediately, whereas Gordon was a little bit more jaded. You've got that friendship there, and then it all goes so wrong. Bruce doubts him. Excuse me. Bruce doubts him, and once we go through all of that, and we get to see that Bruce is kind of... Jesus Christ. I'm sounding like I've been smoking constantly. Bruce goes through all of that. He sees Harvey fall, and he blames himself for it, and he shuts himself off. And Dick being the one who gets him out of that, whereas Harvey's the guy who failed, Dick's the one he gets to save. Both the two attempts he had of this is how you fix Gotham, is he tried it in the system, it didn't work. He just came up with something better. All of that is so interesting to me. All of that is just so good. Like, Bruce tried to find a friend and an adult, and that was always doomed to fail, because Bruce isn't an adult. He's still that 8-year-old boy that was crying in the alleyway. So he needed to find... The only person who could really get through to him was another kid who's feeling that pain. Was Harvey had a whole different kind of baggage going for him. All of that is so good, and it kills me that we have to... Like, I know you said you liked it, and I think you could put it in the background, but why the hell are we doing another mystery murder? This should have just been Two-Face as the main villain.
No. I don't like the mystery murder aspect. Full stop.
It's not even good. It's a terrible murder mystery.
Yeah, I like the mob stuff.
Yeah, I feel like you could do Two-Face in that, right? Mm-hmm. And have him just be the, like, it just wastes so much page time in this. I think this is what kills it, is legitimately, I will say, the character work with Bruce, Gordon, Harvey, Robin, and even Joker, I think is way better than Long Halloween. Like, I think this is actually saying something, whereas Long Halloween is kind of just like a really well-structured, tight Batman story. And we talked about in that review how we feel like Bruce is kind of just going through the motions and that. Bruce here really feels like he's hurting, and we spend a lot of time talking about that. That's all really strong stuff. Everything with the Joker in this is so good. How the Joker's the first one who figures out the mystery. The Joker's the one who takes out Two-Face. And then Robin's the one who takes out the Joker, which is basically telling you this is how Gotham crime is going to get beaten. Batman can't do it because he can take out the mobsters, but then the Joker takes him out. But then Robin is the better idea who can take out the Joker because he doesn't take him seriously. That's a perfect scene right there. But you have to spend 12 other issues getting to it, dealing with who the fuck is the Hangman. I don't give a shit who the Hangman is. Show me what Two-Face is doing.
No, I mean, that is really the thing that kills it, because, like, so much of it just feels like you have that idea of sequelitis, right? Of, like, so many movies just feel like they rush to a sequel, and this is so close after Long Halloween. Long Halloween was 96 to 97. This is 98 to 9, or no, this is 99 to 2000, which again feels so much more recent than this story actually feels like. you know? That's a different conversation entirely. Like, it's just weird to me to think that Dark Victory and parts of Long Halloween could have come out after Batman and Robin. Like, that's just strange. But regardless of that, the whole, like, the whole Hangman mystery just feels like a complete and total retread. Like, Loeb likes to do the thing of, I'm going to have all the villains show up. That's just a trademark of how he writes, because he does it in his Marvel work too. Which, fine, fair enough, whatever. You got a gimmick, you stick to it. But, like, that feels like a retread. And then the whole thing just revolving around a murder feels like a retread. And what's worse about it is Batman's the world's greatest detective, and it takes him a year apiece to solve a spree of murders. And I'm like, come on! It just makes it feel like he learned nothing during the Long Halloween. It makes it feel like he didn't evolve at all. And that's just the part that drives me crazy about it, is it feels like, well, we've got to make it feel more like the Long Halloween. There's got to be something that's really connecting it all the way through. And if Tim Sale didn't hate drawing Robin, Dick Grayson could have been the thing that connected the entire saga together, you know? Kills me.
I don't know if it's possible, but, like, this is the thing I want made into a film the most, so I can make a fucking fan at it. This is the one comic book I've ever read where I'm like, no, this needs a fan edit. You just cut this shit out, cut it out. Make this a really tight 6-issue. Keep it 12 issues even. There's enough content here for 12 issues. You keep the DA stuff with Harvey. That's really interesting. The Poison Ivy scene with Harvey, that's fucking gold. Robin's Dick Grayson story is large enough. Just the same way that Batman's origin story can fill an entire saga. Robin's origin story is just as, if not more interesting, because you get to do the story of Batman, but now instead of random people around the world as his sensei, Batman's his fucking sensei. And Batman's calling a random martial artist around the world. He's Batman. How does Batman train someone? We've never seen that on screen or in any page. We just skip it. But you could tell that. That could be a really cool thing. Where does Batman go wrong? What are Batman's faults as a teacher? What was his good things? How does Dick disobey him? How does Dick convince him to do this? Every Robin story is ever told, it takes like one night for him to be like, all right, I guess I've got a child endangerment now. Is like, you can suspend your disbelief, but like there's still a story to be told there of like Bruce realizing, no, the kid's right. Like, it's crazy, but I came up with Batman when I was 8 years old. I'm not going to say he's wrong. Like, all of that is just so right there. And I love it because this is one of the only stories that actually does bring those ideas up. But we just, it's just a mismanagement of resources on probably the biggest prestige scale I've ever seen in a big DC comic. It's ridiculous that they got too big with Long Halloween. A fucking editor really should have sat them down and told them, no, you've got a story here. This ain't it.
And it's frustrating too because, like you said, this book does do a lot of more interesting things with Bruce as a character already than Long Halloween does. I mean, I really enjoyed those moments where he's closing himself off from people like Catwoman, where he's visibly making himself just more distant from the situation to the point where he starts to kind of fuck up. And it's really interesting how he's put all this weight on himself in the wake of what's happened to his friend, and they talk about that a lot, and there's like a repeated sort of motif that he's alone. And so to have all that build up so perfectly, and then for this kid to show up shortly after these moments where he's messing up, he's misremembering clues, even with Alfred in the Batcave correcting him. So you have this like amazing setup to do exactly that, and then you just don't stick the landing with the part where you actually bring in the person who gets him out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really the problem with it. Like, the themes of loneliness and stuff, I was trying to convince myself that I just misread it. That, like, the Robin scenes are so much more impactful than I remember them being. That they're not just there, that they don't feel like an afterthought. Because there's so much going on with like the theming. And I really think this. I think that halfway through Dark Victory is when Jeff Loeb forgot how to write.
Go into it.
No, I mean, like, there's so much good going on in like the first half of the book. With those themes, like there's those moments with Selena Kyle, how she keeps trying to spend time with him and he keeps ignoring her and all this stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I don't deserve to be left alone on Christmas, New Year's,
that fucking
and Valentine's Day. Like, oh, that's so good. There's so much going on. Like, Bruce just convincing himself, maybe I'm better off alone. Every time I try to bring someone in, I just hurt them. I'm no good for them. I did it with Harvey. I did it with Gordon. His marriage is falling apart because of me. Like, there's just, that's so good. That is, and it's, to your point, that's exactly how a kid thinks. And then so it's all setting up. It's all setting up for Robin to show up. And then he does, and it's just like he's so not consequential to the story, like to the physical meat of what's going on. He tries to get him involved in such a way by like having Robin help solve the clues and stuff, but he doesn't put it all together. Like, that would have been the move right there, right? Like, we wait till the penultimate issue for Batman to go, Sophia Falcone Giganta is the Hangman. What if it was just Robin that pieced it together? Because like he's got maybe that like childhood innocence that even Bruce lost, of just being able to see through, like being able to say, yeah, well, she's in a wheelchair and stuff, but like, what if that's an act? Or just like, yeah, but she's the one with all the motivation to do this. She's the one that's gaining the most from all this chaos. So it has to be her. If Robin was the one that put it together, that'd be great.
And you know how you do that? You know how you fucking write that scene? Is they've got the wall of suspects, right? And he's got the photo of Sophia and he's crossed it out. He's have Robin be like, why'd you cross that one out? He's like, I thought you were better than that. She's crippled. There's no way she could do all the murders. That's an act. I grew up in showbiz. I can tell when someone's faking it.
Yeah. See, something like
because
that.
then you also tie that in thematically, because then the Joker gets the exact same reasoning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they both don't take it as seriously as Bruce does. It lets them see the ridiculousness of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know, like even if you keep the murders subplot, it's too similar to the fucking Long Halloween one. Like, that's the thing that just hurts to be reading it, because it feels like it's just such a retread. And it makes all our characters feel stupid. There's a year gap between this and Long Halloween, which doesn't timeline 100% how I wish it would, but what can you do? Maybe we should have read Snow in between these two, since Mr. Freeze didn't show up in that, but he shows up in this. And that would maybe tie in with those themes of Batman being lonely. It's like, I tried to get that team of people together, and the lady lost her arm because of it. But man, it's just there's so much going for it.
That would make those, because I never get to talk about it. I'm going to take this chance and do it. That would make those scenes, like the fucking dialogue Mr. Freeze gets in this thing, which I love, which is good in this context, but it'd be so funny in Snow's context, is where he's like, have you ever been in love, Harvey? If you've been in love, you know that feels with me. And it's like, oh, Mr. Freeze, yeah, he's trying to cure his wife. No, he fucking turned her into ice and shattered her because he's a fuck up. Like, and he's seeing her ghost this entire time talking to him. That makes that scene so fucking funny now. You see Gilda Gadent telling you to kill people too, Harvey? What? And Joker's just like froze with his arms, like, look, you invited him. He's fucking weird, man.
That's like exactly the shit that was bothering me when we read like the Catwoman story, and you're just like, okay, so when I'm reading year one, I'm expected to believe that Catwoman is off training with some fucking ninjas in between the panels. Like whenever you have like a story like Dark Victory that still has the great artwork by Tim Sale, I don't. It still manages to set a mood. It still manages to create this tone. It still manages to ground you in this very noirish universe that they're trying to create. And their Mr. Freeze is very inspired by that animated series design. He's so kind of classic looking. And then when you read it, and then when you read all these back to back, and you have so many different writers and different artists, and then it colors your perception going from one book to another, and it's so weird to try to fit them all together in a way that makes tonal consistency, because you can't do that, and a way that makes actual chronological consistency, which isn't a big deal at all. I mean, I don't think that really makes or breaks any individual story, but it certainly colors how you're going to look at it.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. It's hard with comics because you have so many different voices, and some of them actually do research, and some of them are just there for your paychecks, so they don't, and they're able to just kind of coast on talent alone. That stuff really is just bound to happen in this long form storytelling. And the other thing is, Snow was 2005. This ends in 99/2000. Tim Sale does a thing that I wish all artists did from now on, which is he dates all his covers. He always puts like the last 2 digits of the year for every single cover he does, and I really appreciate that, Tim Sale, if you're listening, because it helps me know when exactly this came out without having to do like actual research. Yeah, so the final issue, Revenge, takes place is written in 2000, or it's published at least in the year 2000, which is just, again, it's weird to me to think about. It's like 8 years later, fucking The Dark Knight is right after Dark Victory. That's so weird. And like, even more than that, Hush just 3 years later. That's bizarre.
Yeah, that is weird.
I know, because it just feels like a completely different era, and yet it's really not. I don't know. It's strange.
I wonder if maybe the fact that they are so close together is the problem. Is you do kind of, one of the things I always find is, if you want to do writing, sometimes it is best to just, after you've done a project, just to do something entirely different. Different genre, different characters, different tone, anything, just to flex your muscles a little bit, just to make sure you're not in the same rut. And the fact that he got big on Batman crime drama, with big famous artist who wants to draw all the villains. Then he did Batman crime drama, big famous artist who still wants to draw all the villains, but not Robin, so only a little bit. And then he got to do big famous Batman thing with a new artist who wants to draw all the villains and all the heroes on a very larger cast than before, but also doesn't want to draw Cassandra Cain. They've always got one.
What? Jim Lee hates Cassandra Cain? What?
No, he just didn't want to draw her. He one panel, that's it. Despite having the coolest Batgirl costume. So, I mean, there's that.
Fuck Jim Lee. Get your shit together.
There's always just one Bat Family psychic they don't like. It's interesting.
I mean, if it were you and I, or if it were me at least, it'd be Stephanie Brown. It's like, no, I refuse to draw Stephanie Brown.
I'm not trying to shame him. I think I like it as trivia. Like, that'd be like a pub quiz question, right? Is which famous DC Comics artist hates this character? I know this one.
I think you might be onto something with that. Let's talk about some of the positives here, because again, I do really like the way the mob erasure theme plays out in this, and that is, I think, undeniably the strongest part, because it's there. There are the hints of it in Long Halloween, and this is where we start to see it actually play out, because like all of them are dead by the end of this, which I really, really like. Like the Maroni family's gone. The Falcone, what's left of the Falcone Empire is being like just eaten away at from like different angles, which is really cool. You got Penguin kind of on the rise in the background, which I thought was pretty neat. He's so weird in this. Tim Sale makes Penguin's mouth look like a watermelon.
I know, it's like goes like completely to each end of his face.
I know.
He definitely looks like how Tim Burton does his little sketches of the Penguin. Like it's very like not how Penguin looks in that film, but how Tim Burton draws the Penguin.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really, really like how the mob stuff played out here, and you had the end of Long Halloween where Alberto Falcone was like, I'm gonna be remembered forever as one of the freaks. You're gonna be forgotten as a relic, old man. And then you get to this, and it's like, yeah, he's right. They all are starting to just drop off one by one. It's so good.
Well, I think, again, I do think you're right. Sticking to the positive. Part of me is curious if, I doubt it, but I wonder if they spoke to Frank Miller about that. Like, because they are kind of killing all the stuff he set up. And I wonder, does it go too far with that? I don't think it's necessarily good or bad. It's just like, because again, I don't think Flass was ever going to get a story. But sometimes it is cool just to leave some survivors. And the good thing with these big crime families is this book does it as well. You just introduce relatives we never talked about before and just say, oh yeah, he was over there doing the shit. So like, it's fine, but it is one of those things. It's like, I don't know, it would have been cool to leave some people on the table for things to write. But then again, Ian, your point of this being like, well, those guys, those are old Gotham. This is the new blood coming in, and they're coming in with a vengeance. I do think is really solid. And with the ending of this, like the ending of this book is probably one of the top 10 Batman finales of all time. Like the Rose break into the Batcave, Robin comes down and they have the big fight, and then I just love that. It's just like, if this book was better and it led up to that, it would easily could have been an all-timer. The finale of this is so good, just in concept and art and everything, and dialogue. But we have this running thing, but at the same time we've got like the characters on the rise, like Joker's being more active and taking people out. Poison Ivy's doing her thing. Grundy gets so much fight in this. That is one of the things, you could have cut 2 of those Grundy fights and no one would have missed it. But like we do so much with these supervillains, and we have them. It's like I'm like, why is the fall of the Mafia being systematically taken out and not being done by the supervillains to really cement it? Because in Long Halloween, right, is like they're not doing that. They're still doing their own thing, but like the mob can smell it. They can smell like the wolves are at the door. It's only going to be a matter of time. I think this is the story. Is like, all right, Falcone's dead, open season. And you have all the villains, because like Loeb does to do that, but maybe they're not organized by Two-Face. Maybe 1 or 2 of them are, because I do like Two-Face kind of being smart enough, and he's got enough detail on all his people from being DA that he does know how to run this. That scene where he beats the shit out of the Joker is so good. Right? It's like you think you're talking to Harvey Dent, the guy you beat in front of his wife on Christmas Day. No, I'm Two-Face. Like, that is such a good. Yeah, this guy deserves to be on top tier Batman villain status. Like, Joker deserves to take those hits. That's a really good moment for Harvey. It's scary, the fact that he's transformed so much, but it's great. But you've got all of that, and you could really have it just be like the mob is on the out, and then Batman. If you think of this as like a trilogy with Year One, right? You've reversed the scales. Now Batman has to fight to save the mob. But because and he's failing and he loses it, and this is the story. You can have Batman losing because the mob dies and people have died on his watch, and he's never for that. But it's not inherently depressing because, well, it's the mob. You're not gonna cry for Jimmy the stabby. Like, all of this is a really good opportunity to do that. The fact that it is still the mob that kind of self-implodes. I don't know. What do you guys think? That has some weight to it still, or do you think this is still what I'm saying, like, is a bit misguided inherently?
I don't know, like, I think the mob being taken down, like, because you've got Harvey working in the background on it. Like, the Joker is the one who is brazenly attacking them, but, like, it's kind of revealed that the mob's kind of going after itself and consuming itself through what's her name? The DA in this, Porter.
Oh, Porter, yeah.
Yeah, Porter's pulling the strings with Mario to get the mob, to get like the head of the Falcone family now to be in disarray. And that's ruining their ability to organize, and then they're also being pressed against the wall by, the more brazen attacks by Joker and Batman, respectively. That I think all of that actually comes together really well. Like, when you get the reveal that, or like we know for quite a while that Porter is sleeping with someone, we just don't know who, and it's pretty obvious once you start really thinking about it that she's playing some kind of angle here, because you get those moments where she's like constantly at odds with Gordon. I really like the moment where Gordon's, his marriage is on the rocks, so he tries to make a move on her, and he's doing it as a total like nice guy move, like, oh well, I figured we're both in town, we don't have anyone to do Thanksgiving dinner with. Actually, I do have someone, Gordon. Oh. And then he has to drive her home, and that's the worst part. You wait for that kind of move as she's about to leave the car, in case it doesn't go well. But like, there's so much going on with that character, and then when you get the reveal later on that she's being manipulated by Harvey, I think that's a really, really strong part of this, as far as the mob takedown story, because that is kind of the Two-Face side of it, right? Is Two-Face is the one taking down the mob by any means necessary now, and I think that's really cool. Is he's just got all the players, and he's the one manipulating the strings in that format.
One thing I actually do really like in this, unless you've got anything you want to add to that, Matt, before I go on to another thing.
I don't. I feel like I haven't had a ton to say here, unfortunately. But, I mean, I do agree with everything that's been said so far. It was interesting to see Porter come in and essentially using the excuse of what the trio of Gordon, Batman, and Harvey did as sort of a weapon against them. And I thought that was really cool how Harvey knew how to use her to play the system against them, because she's coming in and she's saying, look, you beat the ever-living shit out of this guy the night he was arrested. His civil rights were clearly violated, all this stuff. And so as soon as she comes in here, not only is she able to use the system against them, but Harvey himself is remembering what they did and is able to be like, all right, look, this is how you use it against them. And that's actually really interesting, because then it sort of brings about almost consequences for some of that rule breaking and some of that rule bending that they did in Long Halloween, even more so than just what happened to Harvey. It's now coming back to haunt them because Harvey is now using that information against them. And I thought that was a really cool, angle. And I think that the stuff with Porter coming after them through the law as manipulated by Harvey was one of the more interesting bits of this. And I did like the use of her in the story for that.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely great to have, just like a character like that who, because she hasn't got any recently affiliated, she's not like, oh, someone we know in the future. It was the strength that Frank Miller had for creating all these original characters for year one, and Loeb just continued that tradition of the first time you read it, you don't really know where she's going to go immediately. Like you say, Ian, you can guess she's got some kind of play here, but like, I do think the Two-Face reveal is still really good, and you can go back and check it, and it's just like, oh my god, yeah, and just such a smart idea of putting him in silhouette. You can't tell. Everything Sale does with Two-Face here is fantastic, just art-wise. Like that scene where they're looking through Arkham, and they're kind of like going back and forth, and we just see Harvey's face, and it turns into just the whole panel is just Two-Face. That's just so good. That's really striking imagery. All of that with Porter, I think, is fine. It's something that I would have definitely kept, and would have helped enhance the story, especially because you get that. I really love the angle of Two-Face in this. where he's still completely, at least the Harvey side is, still completely devoted to Gilda. To the fact that he tells Poison Ivy to fuck off, which is one of my favorite interactions of Two-Face ever. Like, I can't think of any other character. Superman fell to that shit. Like, Harvey's a fucking badass. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, the fact that you see the picture of Gilda in the background, he just shoots Porter. He's like, Harvey Dent's a married man. Like, that's just a good-ass line. Like, all of that's so good. Especially reading this after Long Halloween, it makes that there's just so much good stuff here that I hate to focus on the negative because I genuinely believe he showed it with Long Halloween, and he's done Marvel work which is just gorgeous, like Daredevil Yellow, Spider-Man Blue are like all-time classics. Like, Loeb can be just a really fucking dynamite writer, and it just hurts me to see some of the things here like thrown aside. One thing I 100% accept, and I kind of wish we did more of it, and I'm very curious to see what you guys think on this, is the Selena Kyle being Falcone's daughter.
I think that's a cool idea, especially because she is just kind of, from Long Halloween, she's just in the background, always at these Falcone things, and we don't know why. And maybe Batman's like, what is she doing? Where's her loyalties like? Kind of thing. That's a great way to write Catwoman. And then to get the reveal that's like, I couldn't find any proof, but I know you were my father too. And I'm like, that's so good. That works so well because it's already like this, morally corrupt person. So it's fine that he also cheated on his wife and had like an illegitimate daughter and stuff. I think that's such a cool idea, especially if you go like to the idea that Batman and Catwoman end up getting married, kind of thing. So you got like the first son of Gotham, who is the golden child kind of thing, marrying the last remaining heir. By the time you get to the end of Dark Victory, the last remaining heir to the crime empire of Gotham. I think that's such a cool fucking way to play that.
And you know what makes that even more like really? I don't think Loeb intended this, but it's one of those things that is in my head canon now and forever will be, because I think it's like really fucking beautiful, and it makes a running plot through both these two books pay off in like a massive way. Is that means, because going off their ages, Thomas Wayne saving Falcone's life gave Bruce his wife.
That's a good point.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So that act that's haunted Bruce this entire time, he's like, did you make the right call, Dad? All of this caused from Falcone. I know you want to save a life, but even I doubt my code was it is. And like they kind of leave it hanging, right? It's like Batman's doubting saving a life. And then ultimately, through miracle happenstance and Tom King throwing in and everything, and the fact that these characters do always end up together, kind of, is you get the no, Batman, you're right. If you dedicate yourself to this, good shit will come from it. You will find happiness. Like, that is so good.
Yeah. See, I love shit like that. It's great. It's just good, fun, solid writing. I wish there was maybe a little more hint to it, but at the same time, it's all there. Like, we're questioning why she's around the whole time, and then you kind of, like, the reveal kind of makes you question, well, of course Falcone was inviting her. She's like this little secret to him that, like, she's never even told, like, he never even told her about, but, like, she figured it out. She put it together. I think that's a really cool idea. I just like how it all plays. It just comes together really well.
I agree. I liked it a lot, actually. I was surprised too, because when we open the book, I mean, that's exactly how we open it. She's at this event, and we literally get that. Why is she even here? And it's not even something that Batman even figures out. We even get these moments where he's like, "Why are you involved in this? Who are any of these people to you? Why do you care?" And I like the idea that she is sort of taking, because she has that line where she's like, I used your money to buy myself into who I am today, or something like that. And so she's sort of taking her inheritance from this absentee father. And I actually, while I don't generally like random familial connections showing up in things.
Oh, really? I wonder why.
Hey, that's some geeky development lore. Come check and follow us on Twitter if you want to find out more.
Oh my
the
god.
subtweets.
Oh my. Oh god. Watch Alfie and I subtweet each other for days. But no, I did like that a lot. I thought it was cool, and I like that it was done in kind of the way it was. Like, it was not a major focus. It was just this consistent little thing in the background. And it almost had more payoff than this fucking murder mystery did.
Sophia Gigante Falcone is Hangman. Really?
No one suspects the crippled woman.
If your enemies think you're weak, appear strong. Like, fucking great. I love it. Also, just because I fucking love the line at the Long Halloween, and then Loeb knew how good that shit was. The Falcone funeral in the opening. It's hot, but not as hot as the night Johnny Vitti got married. Yep. Shh. Wow. I love it. It's so good.
What I really wish, though, to make that even better, is I wish it wasn't Selena who said that. Because then it makes it like, no, she's right. She fucking called it. Like, it was just some random gal at the party, or a fucking fog at the funeral. Like, that would have been so good. It's just like, no, she fucking knows how this shit's gonna go down.
No, Alfie, she's pulling a U, and she's just committing to a bit long enough until other people start doing it.
Alright, you know what? You're fucking right. I respect the hustle.
Oh, man. Yeah, for those that listen to Geeky Gentlemen and are part of the Geeks for Fun Discord, Alfie doesn't actually know Neil Gaiman.
Whoa,
that's just a bit.
Hold on, go, cut. Scooter. Oh, my mic's just... Oh, Ian, your mic just cut out that. Anyway, so what do you guys think of the annual? Personally, I felt like it was going a bit fast, and what you guys want to jump in there? Weird, it's just that happened randomly.
No, that's totally fine. Is there, just real quick before we wrap up on it, is there anything else we want to talk about with Dark Victory before we go on to the annual?
That was cool that O'Hara was in this book. I don't know.
Yay!
Yeah.
You fucking hanged him, man. That's like, Grant Morrison could show that as like, this is why we shouldn't touch beloved fun characters. We fucking brought Chief O'Hara in, and we hanged him like a piece of meat. that's like fucking poetic ass, like, talks about just the folly of man. We had something bright and beautiful, and we fucking dragged it through the dirt.
That's what I was just like, oh, that's so, oh, O'Hara's in this. That's cool. That's a neat little, oh, Jesus, fuck. Okay. All right. Well then.
Because, like, if we just found Aunt Harriet getting fucking disemboweled by Mr. Zaz.
I know. It's weird that, like, it's funny to me that her whole thing is that she's like, I'm going to go after everyone who helped Harvey Dent fuck my family over. And then, like, Flass and Loeb die? And I'm just like, okay, look, I get that they were cops, technically, but, I mean, are you really needing to go after the corrupt ones that were helping, you know, the mob families and the criminal families more often than not? As much as it was cool to see those characters show up, I especially like Flass a lot. Flass is like one of my favorite things in year one. And so that was kind of odd to me. I'm like, okay, so she's going after cops and she's going after the police who helped put her people away, but then, like, she's also going after the really corrupt ones who... whatever.
I think the argument you could make there is she's taking out Flass and she's taking out Loeb because it's their fuck up that led to this. It's the fact that Flass talked that there's the reason why they even had anything on them in the first place. Mm-hmm. So it's very much just like, we should have done this to begin with. Kind of thing.
And Loeb even has that line where he's like, he's part of the reason. I think he's got a line in there where he's like, he's part of the reason Harvey even made it through the ranks and got to DA. Like, Loeb talks about that. And so obviously when that scene happens, that's the book just painting a big fucking target on Loeb. And we don't even kind of realize it quite yet, but it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. I think the only other thing I want to talk about with Dark Victory is Gordon. Because I really like the subtle thing that goes on with Gordon throughout Long Halloween and Dark Victory, where his wife and he are separated by the end of Long Halloween, and by the start of this, and like they slowly kind of come back together. And I just like the scenes with Gordon where he's like, I really got to go talk to my kid. Or I've got, like, it's Father's Day. I got to go spend a little bit of time with my boy. Like, just, I really like how all that plays. How Gordon is the one character through all of this that actually gets kind of a happy ending. Because
He
God,
deserves that.
yeah, Gordon over the next couple of years of Batman comics gets put through some shit. Not even, or I guess just in the past, because again, I think about this as like, for some reason, I think that Year One came out in like 85, Long Halloween and Dark Victory came out in like 88 and 90 or some shit like that, and it's just not that way. And like Killing Joke came out in 88 or some shit. I don't know. It's just all different than how I think it is, because time's strange.
Yeah.
Well, like Gordon goes through some shit. Like his second wife gets murdered by the Joker. His daughter is paralyzed, and he's forced to, try to be driven mad. And, here we have the average man, physically unremarkable. Like all that shit and killing.
He has to listen to him sing, man.
Oh, I know. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I really like that Gordon gets a happy ending by the end of Dark Victory.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and transition and talk about the annual then. So this is one of those instances where I'm finally glad to talk about it. Whew. All right, hold on. Let me collect myself. Man, Chuck Dixon usually can write, but not this time. It's probably because he's a fucking asshole. Because this sucked.
No, man. No. He's the only way to write Nightwing. You gotta make Nightwing. How did Tim Saley put it? As if he was writing a bad Daredevil run. It's my fucking favorite roast on Chuck Dixon of all time. I can't believe he was allowed to say that. I mean, no, he's the reason why Bruce is an abusive parent, and all the Bat family members are actually more interesting than Bruce. And we actually should just fucking kill Bruce, right? And like just have everyone else on the Bat books, because like Bruce is fucking lame, and like Nightwing should just stay in Bloodhaven. And Blockbuster's actually better than the Joker, like as a character. And fucking Tarantula, like Nightwing getting raped. That's like really great storytelling. And I'm fucking feeling the throw up in my mouth a little bit. Matt, do you want to take over?
I understood like half of those references, which is probably for the best.
Oh yeah, your soul is clean.
I haven't read a lot of solo Nightwing. I will say though, Chuck Dixon is a writer who I unfortunately have a great amount of. Because look, Bane is like one of my favorite things, okay? And I have to live with that. And I have to live with Chuck Dixon's part in that. But sometimes he writes some hot garbage, and this was an example of that. Not that it's the hottest garbage, because it's not. But I don't think there's anything here that's terribly interesting or special. I almost just get bored talking about this one. I like the art a lot more than I like anything done in the actual story, because I do think the art is a lot of fun here, and I think it's classic. It's very evocative. It kind of gives you that old school feel while also giving some really interesting colors. I particularly like the way Batman is drawn and colored in this. I think it's an interesting look. But as a story, I think Alfie hit the nail on the head. It does feel like we're just kind of going through the motions. Like we took a look at, okay, what's Robin's origin, and then let's just like you said, let's read the Wikipedia page and just put some pictures to it. I don't feel like it's really saying much about Robin or about Bruce's relationship with Robin that hasn't already been said in like half a dozen other stories. And I mean, that's really where it kind of comes down for me. And it was a fun, short little read, but I don't know that it's definitely not his best work.
You know what? You want to go ahead again?
Okay, yeah. Like the thing for me about this is where it feels the most try hard a Batman comic ever has, because like Dick Grayson's origin is he sees his parents die, and then he's adopted by Bruce Wayne. And there's like a whole additional section of like, oh, but then he was put in the Gotham City orphanages, and he had to fight his way out. And I'm like, what is that here for?
No, that threw me off.
Nothing. It's just, it feels so try-hard in there. It's like, all right, we'll show that Dick Grayson, like, he's got the ability to fight, but he doesn't really, like, know the particulars yet. And so we have to have him learn that lesson twice. I'm like, it works better if you just have it the one time later on when he's, like, actually got a reason to fight the people, as opposed to prison politics in a fucking orphanage.
And I believe that the foster system in Gotham is that bad, but it's weird that we're using Dick to tell that story when that could easily be something that like a character like Jason escaped from or something like that. It adds a weird wrinkle onto his origin that is not a huge deal, but you do just kind of, it just feels like padding in an already like story that doesn't say anything.
You know, you say Jason and it works so much better if it is, because like, it's like Batman sees this kid on the streets who steals the wheels off the Batmobile, and he's like, you should be in care. I had to escape from care. That's how I broke my arm. And like, that's just the thing is like, okay, no, I'm taking this kid. That is unacceptable. Like, that would work so much better than it does with Dick. With Dick, it's just such like a there it is. That was the thing that I think I spent the most time just thinking on. Also, someone in Haley Circus being the reason the Graysons died is a really weird thing for me. It'd be like I don't like when we do this, when we add like lore to why the Waynes were killed. That shit drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But like, it would be like if Alfred was somehow responsible for the Wayne's deaths or something, you know? It just feels so awkward to put that in there.
And what I think that it comes down to, and I think if you ever want to know Robin, I think always keep an eye for this. You'll notice it immediately, and it's 100% success record so far. You can immediately tell if a Robin writer gets it or not, if they're a good Robin writer or not, if how they explain where he gets the name. And both this and Dark Victory fucking fail so hard, and so many things fail so hard at a very obvious fucking thing for why this is a thing. This one, it makes me laugh just how fucking stupid Chuck Dixon was one of the biggest, probably the longest run on Nightwing of all time, and he didn't get the fucking inspiration for the Robin name right. Oh yeah, I was bobbing around. What the fuck is that shit? Or you were a spring Robin, so I called you Robin because you were born in spring. He's like, what the fuck is that shit? Like, no, he's called Robin, guys. Because you know how Batman's inspired by Zorro? Gee, it's Robin's inspired by Robin Hood. Wow. Apparently it's so hard that so many fucking Robin stories don't get that, and they immediately go to the bird. They immediately go to even the bird. I can take that. It's like, all right, it's fine. You're not going deeper with it. But when they just do this shit and they just go completely off the walls, it lets you know, because then you get to understand. Okay, why is someone from Haley Circles responsible? Why is he fighting in the orphanage? Because he's not understanding that Dick Grayson is a working class hero. So he's making Dick Grayson fight the poor people.
Yep. I think you just zeroed in on it. I think that's 100% it. Because it's such a hard thing to take that 2 seconds and get that. Because you were sitting there and I'm like, yeah, why is he called Robin? And I was going through them all in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I always forget about that shit.
Yeah, because I don't blame you, because it's not your job to write Robin. You don't have access to DC archives, and it's not like, if you fucking didn't know that before we started writing a Robin story, I would have got your case for it. But as just the reader of the material, you are informed by what you've read, right? And unfortunately, the majority of Robin stories don't include that, which would be, again, if it's missing the Batman-Zorro connection. It's missing the fact that they intentionally evoke that this character is inspired by a mythic hero, and they're adopting those methods. And you just name it, Batman's inspired by Zorro, and you understand everything you need to know about Batman, why Batman's different by Zorro, why Batman does the things he does. Is the first thing he came out of when he saw his parents die is he just got finished seeing a guy in a mask who adopted the moniker of an animal, the fox, versus the bat, figure out how to fight crime and make things right. So he's like, all right, I know exactly what I'm going to do. That's fresh in his mind. Robin, I very much imagine if I had to write this scene, is he would have just got finished, like the last night his mum would have read to him his favorite book, Robin Hood and his Merry Man. And Robin Hood always flies in the face of danger, and he never lets things get him down, and he defeats the corrupt, and he saves the poor, and he always brings people happiness and joy, and he's got a band around him. He's not a lone hero. He's a man of the people. You've got that immediate dynamic of why they work, why they have the weight, why Robin isn't Batman's pupil, or I guess he is, but like not in an inferior, right? He's not training to be Batboy. He's not copying Bruce's. He's got his own mythic weight that is just as big as Zorro. Like it's that same tier of the idea I've got is just as good as yours. We're partners. We're the dynamic duo. And when people miss that, they treat Robin as the afterthought. They treat Robin as the add-on. They treat Robin as, oh, he's the bird because Batman's flying, right? Like that's the thought process they go to. And it's why you do see a lot of people like, oh, I don't really like Robin. I think Robin doesn't quite work with Batman. He feels like an add-on and things. And I think it is just because the material from a lot of these writers just don't understand that very simple thing. It would be like if people started writing Batman and they just thought he was dressed up like a crime fighter for the sake of it. Then it's why you see the Zorro thing mentioned all the time, and it's normally a good indication. So I do. It is very disheartening. That's not in either of these.
That's super interesting. I didn't even.
One thing I do want to give credit for, as far as connections between these two go, is like it's so specific with the dreaming up name scene with Batboy. And then Batmite is in like a suggestion in both of them. I thought that was really funny how that worked out.
Yeah, I love that too. That's really good.
I'm sorry I cut you off though, Matt. You were gonna say?
No, I mean that's interesting. I mean I haven't read a lot of solo Robin stuff, so I don't know if any writer has ever gotten that. But I mean, you look at that design. And you always go to, well, you know, he's a circus kid. He wears his circus colors. But I mean, that tunic and the kind of the patterning on the
tights, the pixie boots,
the briefs. Yeah, it's all evocative of that sort of Robin Hood tunic. That sort of, and whenever we attempt to modernize the Robin costume, we immediately kind of lose everything that evokes that imagery because we're so focused on how do we make this kid like realistic as a sidekick for a street level crime fighter versus how do we still, because you look at the Robin look in this and no one is going to put this to screen without, you know, with the pixie boots, with the bare legs and things like that. And so we get so caught up in how do we make this work as a realistic dynamic, and we lose that very that sort of aesthetic that's calling back to that original inspiration.
Mm-hmm. And what I find interesting about that is it's not easy. Like I've still yet to find or even come up with what I would imagine be the perfect modern Robin design, because like you've got great Robin designs, right? But a lot of the good, like the Tim Drake one, and I think it's good that only Dick should really have it because it only really works for him. Everyone else is trying, like Tim Drake is trying to be another Batman. Jason's trying to be his own thing. It makes sense that they kind of wouldn't get it that way. I like Damian calls back to it a little bit because he's his Robin. So that's, even if Damian never realizes, I think that's cute that he is the one Robin that has a hood. Like all of that is really great. But whenever we do modernize it, we lose the tunic, because it is hard to make that work when you do actually, all right, why would Batman make him dress up like this? So the idea of like the black cape with the yellow accents, all that's good. I don't think it's impossible. I think it takes someone who's a really good artist, really great concept artist, who gets the Robin Hood imagery. And we've seen Robin Hood survive throughout all of history and get great modern updates and everything. It's not impossible. I think it's just going to take a little bit. And then once we see it, we'll be like, oh, why didn't they just do this all along? But for the moment, I think just while we're in comics and we're dealing strictly comics and you can get away with the pixie boots, it's weird just seeing people go through the beats and kind of miss the point while going verbatim. And it's almost like, do you guys ever have that? Because I know, again, when you two said like, oh, you didn't realize that, I immediately felt bad for fucking doing the guess what? Like, you fucking pretentious that prick Alfred.
I don't know, like, I've noted in the past, it's not where my mind immediately goes. Honestly,
yeah, exactly.
The first thing that I thought of when you said, where does his name come from? So I thought of the scene from Batman and Robin where it's like, my mom says I dove out of the air and caught my brother like a robin.
So goofy. Like it's just they every time, right? They have to find a way to get the name in, and they come up with like a story of like the fucking fable. And it's like Bruce was it fucking Thomas always fucking said I cried and couldn't let him fucking sleep like a wailing bat. Like he kept me up all night. Mom said I was a rat with fucking wings sometimes. They call me a bat. That's why I'm a bat. It's like that level of shit.
Said I'd always come round the corner like a bat out of hell.
Yeah. And that's it, right? That's Chuck Dixon's Batman origin. Like, do you guys ever have this? Because I think it is. This story's got so little meat to it. I think a cool thing to do would be talking about how this is such a common trend in comics. Do you guys know any origins that, for characters you like, that run this similar thing, where we're just repeating the plot points, but they're not getting why we're doing this story?
I'd have to think. You guys are so much more... You guys have a much broader comic book knowledge base than I do, so I'd have to think about it.
It could be in any media if we go that far.
As far as just like running over the plot points over and over again, I think that happens to Hal Jordan quite a bit. Like just all the time, they don't really do much interesting with like Hal Jordan and Abin Sur out in the desert kind of thing. It's more just there a lot. Like it gets brought up a bunch. Even when Jeff Johns went back and redid the origin for part of his run, like it's okay, but it's far from as good. He just kind of uses it as an excuse to retcon in a character that he was about to use with Atrocitus, and William Hand as well. So I don't know, stuff like that. They don't.
I mean, we do it with a lot of characters like Spider-Man and Superman. We get to the point where we've told their origins so many times that it's become commonplace to the point where no one even really, we don't give it the gravitas that it always needs. But we also get to the point where we're just like, you know, you get to like Spectacular Spider-Man, for example, and they just like, fuck it. He's been Spider-Man for like 3 months. We'll deal with the origin later when it's thematically appropriate to deal with the origin as it comes up naturally.
Donna Troy.
Yeah. I feel like the plot is like almost like a fucking social experiment where the plot points are slightly different each time, and it's just fucking driving you insane because now no one can remember which is the actual truth. Where does the lies begin and where does the truth end? Let's go back to the original. Oh wait, she's not even the original Wonder Girl. What is truth? Where did she come from? Help, I'm having a panic attack. Like that's Donna Troy. I think the Spider-Man thing, like the Superman thing, is I think the easiest one because it's hard to fucking miss the pathos of sending your child away and blowing up a planet. Like that's kind of like some people they've tried really. Zack Snyder was like, well, we gotta have an action scene. Like we gotta have Jor-El get fucking stabbed before it because it's obviously not enough emotion here. But even then, it's like you still get to see these parents are sending their child away on a one shot. Like it's there. But I do think Spider-Man kind of had the same thing where like people miss the point that it's not meant to be fucking tragic. It's meant to be, Peter, you're a fucking selfish prick. You act together. You just lost the one person who cared about you because you were so selfish. The more we retell it, the more we get into Peter lost his Uncle Ben through a streak of fate, and now he becomes Spider-Man to make sure that will never happen again. We kind of we tone down how much of a prick Peter's meant to be in that scene, which I think we're doing here, is we're turning down how much we're supposed to be talking about the working class circus kid who's finally given the tools from someone who's actually good and rich, but he still disagrees with him and mostly doesn't use gadgets, which I've always appreciated from Robin. His utility belt is normally always very bare because he doesn't need Bruce's money. He's got his own skills to do it. He's finally given the tools and the opportunity to take back the crime and corruption that trickled its way down so that just a random guy like Tony Zuko could end his whole world. Like he's almost more aware of the fucked up system of Gotham than Bruce ever is because he lived in it for a good long time. So all of that is so good and there's so much weight to that character and you make him work. And then we skip it. We come over it because we immediately go to, oh, he's in the circus because it's just a fun locale and I'm just going to go over that. We're not going to deal with the fact that he was in a circus and he growed up like that. We're just going to have him train. We're not going to deal with that. We're just going to say he trained vaguely. We're going to say he's vaguely a good detective, and we're going to say he's vaguely made Batman happier. And we're going to go for all of this because, yeah, they're all right, but it's such a surface level reading where, I don't know,
That's actually a really interesting point, and it gives me a different appreciation for Dick as a character.
Oh, my
sometimes,
God.
Because sometimes... Yeah, because sometimes when I look at the Robins, I'm just like, okay, fucking Jason's like the angsty one who Batman like couldn't save and then came back. And I can get a sense of what Jason sounds like. I can get a sense of what Damian sounds like. Tim is the detective who's trying to live up to Batman. And then with Dick, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, he's the fucking fun one. That's it. So it's honestly, it's really cool to hear that because I again, you guys have a broader Batman comics publication history knowledge than I do. So the idea of Dick being the champion of the oppressed and kind of the working class and kind of having that same that's really cool. Actually,
I mean, there's a reason why the first thing he does once he leaves Batman is he gets his superhero name from Superman.
Yeah.
Is the working class hero like, oh, okay, you don't want to follow the rich man? Yeah, this is a myth from us. You like myths, like Robin Hood, but for Krypton.
No, I prefer the Batman 2004 version where it's just his fucking username and in gaming profiles.
I mean,
I love that.
To be honest, I think that would be fucking fantastic for Jason and Damian. I think Red Hood being fucking Jason's online username is what we need to do. That is fucking
No, the Red Hood as like a fuck you to the Joker is still my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's true. But
it's
like,
the only thing that makes me like that whole like Red Hood origin is that we get to reuse it as him saying "fuck off."
No. You don't understand. Damien's definitely isn't going to be anything other than son of Batman.
underscore. And it's like he fucking pronounces it like Spider-Man. He's like, don't forget the hyphen. Don't forget the underscores.
Son underscore of underscore Batman.
That's so good.
I love it.
Yeah, that is 100% how Damien conducts himself online. Just no filter. Like I said, yeah, fucking Damien definitely has a verified Robin Twitter account.
Oh yeah.
I guess Twitter might be too old at this point. Damien definitely has a verified Robin TikTok account.
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. Since we're just in the silliness phase of things now, I guess it's probably best to just wrap up and go on to ratings, if that's okay with the two of you.
That sounds good to me. I've said my piece. I've made someone appreciate Robin more. This whole fucking saga of reviews has been worth it for that alone. Thank you, Ian, and thank you, Matt.
All right. I'll go ahead and go first. I'll give Dark Victory, because again, I didn't like it that much in the past. I appreciated it more on this read through. So I'll give it 3 out of 5 Vini Vidi Vici tombstones. because I thought that was cool. And then for Robin Year One, just because it's a chance to shit on Chuck Dixon a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 1 out of 5 guys eaten by tigers, which is a surprisingly dark ending. How about you, Alfie?
For me, again, fuck you, Chuck Dixon. Why would you get to define a character I love and hold dear in the minds of so many that we have to fight and undo? This is just, again, this is the equivalent of read it once, forget it in an hour. It's already kind of vanishing into my mindscape at this point. It's disposable comics, which is such a waste for... At least I'm glad he kind of did at least do a more preferable Robin Year One later, thanks to having a co-writer to help kind of make him actually sit down and flesh out the shit. So the Robin Year One name hasn't been ruined, but it almost did. And for that, he will get a 0 out of 5 Robin Hoods.
Because no Robin Hoods appeared in this book.
There's no Robin Hoods, so he's not getting a single point. And for Dark Victory, this again, I'm very conflicted on, because there's stuff in here that I think is just a better story than Long Halloween, and one that was really needed to be told and could have been perfect, and it's just kind of bogged down by the fact that it is a Long Halloween sequel. And again, it's hard to say that, right? Because Long Halloween's so good that that's negatively affecting this, because it just follows so many of the same beats. It covers from, you put it very nicely with the sequelitis effect. But again, I can't bring myself to make the moments here fall apart. That ending is fucking dynamite. The Harvey moment is one of the best Two-Faces of all time. The art here is just as good, if not better sometimes. Like, everything is just really good. That brings up from that, misguided story to like, no, this is still a good read. I would still recommend this to people. And for that, I will give it 3.5 pretty cool, huh? Out of 5. Because that's immediately how you fucking make Robin badass. He attacks the joke with a hockey stick and is like, yeah, you wish you could do that, huh, Batman?
Nice. And how about you, Matt?
The Robin story, the annual, anyways, already out my mind. I'm gonna give it like 1.5 Gotham foster care gang members out of fucking 5. I couldn't be bothered to care about this one too much, to be honest with you. It's fine. Although now my entire perspective on Dick Grayson has been changed irrevocably, so I hate this now. For Dark Victory, there's a timelessness to Tim Sale's art that elevates the material, no matter even though it's not nearly as good as Long Halloween. There's certainly a mood all of its own. It still does feel like it's cool to see a direct sequel to it that deals with the aftermath of that story in a lot of different ways. There are some great moments here. I'm gonna do 3.5. Man, I don't even know. Fear toxin filled dolls out of 5. Because I love Tim Sale's Scarecrow design. It's so fucking good.
Well, I'm glad. All right. Alrighty, Matt. You came on board kind of in the middle of our series that we don't do too often. We don't do series of things. So now that you're a permanent geeky gentleman, we need a discussion topic for next week.
Like an esoteric topic, or like something to review?
Yes, not something to review. We need a discussion, something we can debate and think about and armchair philosopher about, or something just insanely geeky.
Oh shit, I don't know. Fuck, I was not prepared for this.
I told you it was gonna be this. You asked me like 2 weeks ago, hey, so what are we doing next in the Batman thing? I'm like, actually, we're getting close to the end, so after we finish that, I'll be like, I'll throw it to you for a discussion topic. We had this conversation.
Ian, the fact that the moment he said this and he said he's not prepared, you're gonna fit right in that.
Oh god. What's been on my mind lately? I guess. Fuck, man. I want to talk about. Let me think here. And I'm just gonna stall for time while I'm looking around and seeing for something to inspire me. That's all I'm doing. I dislike the tone at which you are making that sound. I don't like the sarcastic tone. I would like to talk about. Fuck, god damn it. Shit. I feel bad now.
You're fine. You're fine. Take your time. People are used to it at this point.
It's like this is where people are like, all right, time to make my annual Geeky Gentleman sandwich.
I want to talk about
sandwich. Can I be the meat?
Okay, so I got it. Fuck.
Got it.
Okay.
Go.
I've been watching Young Justice season 3, and there are things about that show that I kind of like. I like this whole like social media thing with the outsiders. So part of me kind of wants to talk about like social media and how we deal with social media in superhero stuff. But I want to talk about something else. There's a character in that show who her whole gimmick is she gets fucking murdered as shit and then gets brought back to life because her power is that she heals. And so I want to talk a little bit about the fact that that was a show that started as a kid's show, and then this season is so fucking ultra violent. So I want to talk about, I guess, violence in media meant for children, especially in superhero media, because there comes a point where, sort of like how we were talking when we were talking about the Hugo Strange, how sort of we just accept a certain level of fucking sexist nonsense in the art. We also have just come to accept a level of violence in some of our media that is kind of not like, I'm not saying that violent media makes people more violent, but it is kind of odd that we feel the need to push like hyper violence to make something seem more mature, as opposed to relying on the strength of the writing and the strength of the idea. We just say, well, we want this to be more mature, so let's make it more violent. Let's add more swear words. So I guess I want to talk about that, if that's a topic that makes sense.
No, that's fine. So we'll talk about like hyper violence.
Yep.
Or I can get my Clockwork Orange on and talk about ultra violence.
Ultraviolence.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess violence as sort of a substitute for actual mature storytelling. We just fucking put in a bunch of there we go.
Yeah, that totally works. And let's not have the discussion before we have the discussion. Awesome. No, that's totally good. All right, everyone. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm a geek for fun. I actually am not a geek for fun. That would be if I had Chuck Dixon writing me. I'm the champion of the oppressed.
I'm the Sonic Erotica lover.
And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things. Okay, real quick before I stop recording, what is the Chuck Dixon version for the origin of your username? Not the actual one, but like the Chuck Dixon reasoning. Because mine's Sid Part 2, right? So like mine would be that my dad one day saw that I was sitting all weird. He's like, sit normally. And he told me that twice.
Now, you see,
mine's all right.
Once, and I don't want to get into this because it's kind of personal after my parents were killed, but my mum, she would always tell me when I went to her office, it was bring your child to work day, that I was just the champion of using the O-Press. Which put a giant R in the pressing machine. So that's what I call myself from now on.
I call myself that Matt Kid because I knew from a young age that my father was always more focused on his work than he was on me. He couldn't even be fucking pressed to remember my full name is Matthew, and so he would just be like, "Oh man, it's time to go. Where's that fucking Matt kid that hangs around my house and eats my food?" And that stuck with me. And so I'm not Matt. I'm just that Matt kid.
This is the best fucking bit of all time.
Actually, the real story is that did happen, but it was my classmates at a new school I moved to. They would just be like, "Where's that Matt kid?" Because I showed up in like the middle of the 8th grade year, and I was only there for that year, and then we all went to high school because I switched middle schools in like the middle of 8th grade, and then we all went to high school. So like, good times.